Join me as I try to uncover the secrets of what really went down behind closed doors at the UN meeting. The United Nations meeting is one of the most pivotal events in international relations, bringing together world leaders to discuss and address global concerns. But what really happens when the doors are closed and the cameras are gone? In this video, we'll dive into the world of diplomatic intrigue, exploring the key issues, the behind-the-scenes drama, and the pivotal moments that shaped the course of the meeting. The UN meeting was marred by deep-seated disagreements between nations, with long-standing conflicts and rising tensions taking center stage. The issue of climate change, for instance, saw developed nations pitted against developing ones, with each side refusing to budge on their demands. The recent rise in global tensions has also led to a heightened sense of unease, with countries suspicious of each other's intentions. Meanwhile, the topic of economic sanctions sparked a heated debate, with some nations accusing others of using them as a tool of economic warfare. The issue of human rights also came under scrutiny, with countries being called out for their questionable records. The atmosphere was tense, with diplomats working overtime to find common ground. As the meeting progressed, old alliances were tested, and new ones forged. The question on everyone's lips was, would the UN be able to rise to the challenge and produce meaningful results? The stakes were high, and the world was watching. Behind the scenes, diplomats were engaged in a frenzy of backdoor meetings and secret negotiations. Countries were using every trick in the book to get what they wanted, from arm twisting to horse trading. The Russians were quietly courting African nations, while the Americans were using their economic muscle to sway opinion. Meanwhile, the Chinese delegation was playing it cool, using their diplomatic clout to broker deals and shape the agenda. The Europeans, on the other hand, were struggling to find a unified voice, with old rivalries and competing interests tearing them apart. The air was thick with tension, as diplomats pushed to the limits of their endurance. But one moment stood out above the rest, a moment that would change the course of the meeting and send shockwaves around the world. It happened when the Turkish delegation suddenly walked out of the meeting, accusing the Europeans of hypocrisy and bias. The room was stunned, with diplomats scrambling to respond to the crisis. The Turkish move sent the meeting into a tailspin, forcing countries to reevaluate their positions and alliances. It was a dramatic turn of events, one that would have far-reaching consequences for global politics. In the end, the UN meeting managed to produce a watered-down agreement, but the real action had happened behind closed doors. So, what did we learn from this UN meeting? We learned that, despite the rhetoric, nations are still driven by their own self-interest. We learned that alliances are fragile and can be broken at any moment. And we learned that, in the world of international diplomacy, sometimes the most important deals are made in the shadows. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to dive deeper into the world of geopolitics, be sure to check out our next video, where we explore the hidden drivers of global conflict.